Welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name's Wendy Gathercole. How are you this week? So, disclaimer. I'd already done this podcast, but I am a person that does what I say, and I listen to the little whispers that my body tells me. And it told me early hours of this morning when I woke up. Well, I got woken up actually, but early hours of this morning, it told me, Wendy, you need to revisit this podcast. You see, I had already created this podcast. I had uploaded it. I had written the show notes. I'd put it out there, but something just wasn't right, obviously, because the little whispers told me to look at it again. So here we are. We're revisiting, we're redoing. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not very often that I re-listen to a podcast. It's not very often that I don't even re-listen to them, that I actually delete them fully after I've uploaded them. Not very often at all. But this morning, I got told to. So here I am, redoing it. And it makes sense too. So it makes sense for me to redo it. That's what I mean. Do my podcast ever make sense? Who knows? So, as you may be aware, I've written a new book, and hopefully at this stage it's out on the shelves. It's called A Crohn's Solution: Healing from Inside Out. And this is what we need to do: heal from inside out. And what does that mean? Well, sometimes, it's not sometimes, all the time, we look at the outside world for answers. We have all the answers within. Just like I told you that, just like I just mentioned about the little whispers waking me up, well, telling me that I need to revisit this podcast. We have these little whispers all the time, but we don't listen to them because we haven't been taught how, and we don't know how. And then we listen to our mind because our our mind tells us the truth, right? Wrong. Our mind is there to trip us up, to keep us safe, to stop us from being ridiculed by others. It's in my new book. I have a whole section about this in my book. And this relates to you can get anything you want. And how does it relate? Because it's all about how you think about things and how you speak about things, and then what action you take or not take. I have so many stories, and I know that you do too. If you took a moment to be still and really think about the things that have happened in your life, anything that you deem good or bad, and the times where you actually asked for something, said that you were going to get something, the times where you were upset with somebody and what happened, all these little times in your life that you revisit by being still when you are asking for something. Sorry, when you're in the moment of stillness and you can see where you've been in your life and all the events that led up to getting to where you are today, you will see a pattern. And that pattern will be how you were feeling at the time, and how you were thinking at the time, and how you were speaking at the time, and who you were surrounded with at the time. So all these things matter. You can get anything you want, but what do you really desire? I remember saying years ago in stories in my book that when I get this big home, when I get a big home, I'm going to have a cleaner. Now, that was an absolutely ridiculous statement. We could barely scratch together money to put petrol in the car and food on the table. And here I was talking about having a big home and employing a cleaner. So that, times have changed, but that was so far out of my reach at that moment in time that it just was, if anybody actually heard me say that, they would have said, "You're an idiot. That's impossible. That'll never happen." So what I said, I didn't negate it. So what I mean by that is I said it, but I never said all those other things like, "Oh, but that will never happen. Look at us now. We can't afford it. We'll never be able to afford it. Having a cleaner, that's for millionaires. Who could afford that?" All of those things were never said. All I said was, when I have a big house like this, I'm going to have a cleaner. 20 years later, yeah, maybe 20, I had a cleaner. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, so that's how long I have to wait to get things. No, not at all. This is just one instance. So when I talk about being still, if you really want something, be still. Think about what you've gotten up to date and how you've achieved it, how you've gotten it, because that will give you the confidence to know that you can get what you want. Like the different jobs that you've wanted, all the different trips that you've had, um, the the different food that you've been able to buy, you know, the rent or the mortgage that you've been able to pay, the different moves that you've been able to make, if you have, whatever, the clothes you've been able to buy for yourself, like whatever it is. But I know that you can get whatever you want as long as it's your want. Now, I keep saying this, sometimes when we look at the outside world, we can see what others have. And sometimes you might want that. But I say to you, if that's what you really want, then go to that person and talk to them and ask them how they got there. You can't have everything that you want like right now. I want a house, I want an overseas holiday, I want to get married, I want to have kids. Like there's time. There's always a time frame. Like having a child, for instance. You want to have a kid. Well, first of all, you've got to get pregnant, and that could take time. Who knows? And then it takes at least 9 months before you can have an actual child. So nothing happens overnight. But what do you truly want? Now, I have a spring clean your mind and body coming up this year in spring, would you believe? 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of September. And I break a lot of this down in that spring clean your mind and body. If you're struggling to work out what you want or your purpose, I know that's a biggie for people. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? Let me tell you, you're probably living your purpose. You don't have to look for it. That's a little hint for you. And you know, your head is in a spin. Your body is just in a state of angst, and you just can't seem to be still and calm. You're always on because you're just always after the next best thing, maybe. or you don't know what you want. Everyone else around you is thriving, but you haven't even got a job. Then come to spring clean your mind and body. That is for you. You can get anything you want. What is it that you really want? Sometimes that want word is not the best word. Desire. I like desire. It's nicer. What do you truly desire? Maybe you have everything that you desire. Put it down on a piece of paper. Write it down, but don't negate it. What do you really desire? Come to spring clean your mind and body. I'd love to hear all about it. So until next week, you can get anything you desire, but don't negate it. I'll see you then. Bye.